In
Start
time,
again. Start again.
these Khazar Jews blended with other Jewish elements in Poland and ultimately lost their ethnic group identity after the Crusades and massacres which followed the Black Death. Thousands of Jewish refugees fleeing Germany and Bohemia settled principally in the cities of Wrocław, later renamed Breslau, I'm not sure, Breslau, Posen, Krakow, and Kalisz. It says, rich Yiddish culture was the mass arrival of Jews from Germany and Bohemia after the middle of the 14th century. Hitherto Slavic character of Polish Jewish culture was rapidly transformed into the Yiddish-speaking one.
See, that's the main reason why I asked all those Yiddish-speaking Israelites to write the letter character E in Hebrew. Because the key word is that it was transformed because of the pronunciation from the culture of people who converted to our nationality. Okay?
So what they did was they took Hebrew characters. They took Hebrew characters, all right, and they added English vowels and European vowels, Grecian vowels onto the Hebrew characters, thus making it. They'll use a Hebrew character to speak Yiddish, and they're telling you in their own 1950 encyclopedia. They also tell you they Khazars. Let me finish reading this out. And it says, of Polish Jewish culture was rapidly transformed into a Yiddish-speaking one. Polish Jews adopted the Ashkenazic rites. All right? So Ashkenaz is Japhetic, first of all. So they speak in Yiddish. They're claiming they Ashkenaz. These people are all confused. And it says, liturgy and religious customs of German Jews, as well as a method of Torah and Talmud study, and the use of Yiddish as the language of oral translation. So they translated Hebrew to Yiddish. So they use Hebrew characters and they speak the Yiddish language using Hebrew characters, so they're speaking Yiddish, but they're writing in Hebrew, and people will just assume, well, they're speaking in Hebrew.
Well, that's not even, really, the Assyrian, that's Assyrian text. Right. Okay? When you go back to the Paleo, which you will see on the Moabite stone and aluminum stones, that's the language we wrote it. And then in some characters go even dates further back. Okay? But we got the Yiddish on the board, and of course, when we first asked him to read it, he couldn't. He stumbled. He stumbled.
And not to mention, out of his mouth was Yeshua.
Exactly. And if you've been in Israel for 28 years, then why your ass back here then?
Right. By the 16th century, except for inevitable regional variations of homogeneous Jewish culture had crystallized, besides the Hebrew element dominant in its religious life, it was based on a common secular use of Yiddish in speech and in writing. A Yiddish literature principally of a devotional and moralistic character evolved among the Jews of Germany, Switzerland, Australia, Bohemia, Lithuania, Galatia, Poland, Russia, Hungary, and northern Italy. Yiddish thus became a sort of lingua franca, practically an international language that bound together the Jews of Eastern Europe, which they're telling you they came out of the Khazars. And there you go. So all these people came out of the Khazars, and they took Hebrew characters, the Assyrian Hebrew characters, and added their own, and added Yiddish sounds to them, and created a new language. Therefore, they're speaking Yiddish.
Now,
as simple as that.
Now, you look at this alphabet. Now, first of all, when you have E, O, U, and V, you're adding 4 characters into the alphabet of the Lashawan Kodash. It's only 22 characters. So how are you going to add on 4 more characters to the Lashawan Kodash?
Now compound that with the fact that we got stolen and brought over here in slavery. Our original language started becoming beat out of us, taken away from us, stripped from us. Each single generation after we got brought over here in slavery, when we started singing Kumbaya off them boats, and during the slavery, we started singing Oh Say Can You See?
And instead of Kumbaya, we was definitely saying Kwambaya.
Right, we were saying Kwambaya.
Kwambaya.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so our whole language got taken from us, and now coming back into our heritage, who do we hear from? Who are we learning our Hebrew from? If you're not learned by the Most High and the men of the Lord, you learn it from these Jewish Khazar
not only
bastards.
That, not only that, like the brother was trying to say.
And this brother Matt, he knows I mean.
I know Ben Amin. I know they went over to Dimona back in the late '60s, and what they first of all, Dimona was a nuclear waste land.
It still
so
is.
So they were breathing in nuclear waste fumes and whatnot. Then the Yiddish is what they were learning over there. Ben Amin was not teaching them Hebrew; he was teaching them Yiddish as well. That's
Now
what
the
I'm
thing
saying
is,
to brother to understand.
now the thing
that
is,
scripture,
this
Isaiah
thing about it
28
is,
and 11.
well, Salaki, hold on real quick. The thing is, if you look at, like I was explaining before, if you look at all these characters, you don't see any E in the Hebrew text.
Or V.
Or V, or U,
Or O
or
sound.
V, or of course we know J. That's what I'm saying. He gonna say Judah.
Like you
That's how you
said,
say
there's
it.
no J, there's no O, there's no V, there's no E.
Or no O.
Well, he actually
And-
said when he was going down, he was like, what's here? Ruben, Levi, and he was like Yehuda, and Judah.
Yehuda.
He said Yehuda, but then he still went down in Judah.
But
He
then-
didn't even know what he was saying.
But you know what's a crazy cut? It shows you a double-minded man is unstable on his ways. If you said Judah is Yehuda, then how can you say the Lord's name is Yahweh?
That's right.
Because Judah has the Lord's name in his
He's
name.
definitely unstable because when he first looked at it, he said, "What the hell is this?"
That's right.
And then when he looked at it again, he said, "This is Hebrew."
How you got Yehuda and Yahweh,
All over the fucking place.
and the Lord's name is in Judah's name, in Hebrew, okay? Salaki.
Isaiah 28 and 11. For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people.
And that's right. So we speak in English and all these other languages. We weren't going to be speaking Hebrew again. But now that we're learning it, like the brother just pointed out, you add them Yiddish-speaking people, which they're owned by their definition, information in their own book. That's a Jewish pictorial history of Jewish people from 1950. They just declared on, what was that, page 133 I was reading, that they're Khazars and that they spelt Yiddish. All right? And there's no E, V, O, or J in the Hebrew.
That's right.
All right? And so we're going to be speaking in another language. So, but when you go back and you study the Lashawan Kadash, like if the brother was to write out Adama in the Lashawan Kadash, it's gonna be spelled out with the same Hebrew characters that he just showed you. Because in this book, because you know them damn rat line fake Yiddish people that this man had followed behind and calling himself a Hebrew.
He got a point too for you.
It's for that Yiddish.
Go ahead, brother.
This is the word Torah. It says the orders of the cake is coming from the root Tor, meaning customs, unwritten law people from in Old Turkey. It's from the Old
In
Turkish.
Old what?
Old Turkey.
That's what I said. First of all, those people who's over there, they're Turks. Okay, go ahead. That's
And
right.
it says modern Turkish Torah. So the word Torah, which is of course Yiddish from the Old, all right?
Like I
is,
said,
from
see,
Turkish language.
like we were saying earlier, the reason why our Hebrew, because it is our language, the reason why our language is pronounced that way or in a Yiddish format is because of their pronunciation. They don't have the same tongue as our culture. All right, that's why. Just like I say this all the time, just like how the Germans couldn't say Niger, they say Niger. They couldn't say Niger. So the same thing goes with the Hebrew. They could not pronunciate our language in the tongues that how we pronounce it. Okay.
Simon Peter was alive.
Right. This is page 3.
Yeah. He was, and that just means black. That's it. This proves that Peter was black. All right.